Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to the sheep pen. Bah! No goats allowed. Okay, I know I usually just jump right into the sermon, but I did have a couple of announcements and some things I wanted to talk about before I get right into the message for today. Um, so I have started a discipleship program. The thing about this ministry and what I'm trying to do here is that because I'm dealing with people who have been, um, you know, my ministry is not to the people that are perfect, right? My ministry is I'm not trying to go out and drain the churches of all these people that have spent decades trying to become a better person. This ministry is for normal folks, people who have lives and they have struggles and complications and difficulties. And so a lot of the people who watch this channel, a lot of the people who this message is for, have personal issues to overcome. They have a lot of growth to work towards. And I have a saying that you're going to hear a lot around here: healed people heal people, and hurt people. So a lot of the people that I interact with have been like myself, been very much hurt and have had to go through healing, and so everybody's in various stages of healing. And I need help. I need people that can help me in ministry. And like I said, I'm not trying to drain ministry trained people out of other churches because, well, there's a lot of reasons. But one is I have to completely reprogram them, and that could take years. It's much easier to teach a new disciple than it is to deprogram somebody who is brainwashed by the system. And so, ministry and discipleship, it's going to be a slower process to build this home church situation, because I've got to take somebody and help them finish their healing, minister to them, get them set up and on a strong foundation so that they can be healed and then in turn heal others. And so that's going to require discipleship. One of the problems with a remote church like this, I'm going to drink coffee while I talk. I'm still in coffee mode this morning. I got a little bit left. But yeah, people need discipleship, and because this is a remote kind of situation, it's really hard to do discipleship. Discipleship really needs to be hands-on, one-to-one, face-to-face. And so I am launching a discipleship program that is only available to those that live in Oklahoma and Texas right now, and mainly north central Texas. So if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you would like to get involved in this discipleship program, it is open to you. I have my only other person that I know is qualified to help deliver this message, and they're operating out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And just so you know, it's my sister, my silent partner in this endeavor, and she is a trained prayer minister. She is trained in deliverance, and she is trained in I can't call it counseling because we don't have a license and we're not licensed counselors. So let's just call it prayer ministry. And, confession is good for the soul. And so just helping people sort through their things and their issues. And also it's a preparation and a school that's going to allow you to branch out and start your own home church if that's what God has a calling on your life to do. And so this kind of ministry is available now through me in the Oklahoma area, and I will drive. I'll drive a couple of hours to spend time with you, and we can talk and text and that sort of thing. As many of those people as I can handle and still follow through with delivering this message, starting this organization, and creating this new underground church in seclusion. Okay. The secret underground church that we're going to need to face the coming turmoil. So, and you're starting to see it now. Christians are being demonized across the board. The followers of the cabal, okay, the Baal worshipers, you know who we're talking about. you know what I used to call them. I won't go there because I'm trying to stay non-political right now. But there is a faction that is definitely associating Christians with everything wrong in the world and attacking all Christians. And that's just going to grow stronger and stronger to the point where eventually we'll be hunted, right? We kind of all know this. They'll be hunting us, and we'll have to go underground, and our rights will be infringed upon. This is all part of what happens before the end can come. And so, but before, sorry, sidetrack there. Before I can get that built, I have to build leaders. So if you are interested in getting some healing so that you can heal other people, learning more about what we're doing, it is available here right now. And eventually, I am going to build another building here on the property or relocate to some other property if need be, so that I have the facilities to host people who want to come here and do intensive workshops and work on their personal healing and get ministry training and get a better grasp of what it is we're trying to do here. So if you'd be interested in that, you can email me at sageland2019@outlook.com. That's sageland2019@outlook.com. So let's get on with the message today. Well, I'm going to complain a little bit. Down in my back, so I want you all to pray for me. I'm down in my back this morning. And, massage therapy has always been a way that I've gotten through some of these back problems. And, part of it is weight loss. I'm working out. I'm building muscle. It's changing the frame of my body. But I made a stupid mistake yesterday. I put a 50-pound bag of dog food on my shoulders, and then I dropped my keys. And instead of setting the bag down, picking up my keys, and hoisting the bag back up, I just reached down and picked up the keys. When you have bad knees, you tend to not squat like you're supposed to, so the end result was I janked up my back a little bit there. So, and I don't spend money on, I'm very careful how I'm spending God's money. And that's how I see every dime that you send to me. And thank you once again for all of your gifts, all of your contributions. It's been a true vote of confidence. Thank you to my friend in Maryland who just sent me a letter and a beautiful gift. I do appreciate that. That came in snail mail. Thank you so much to all of you that are tithing, that are giving to this ministry. And I hope you can see the fruits of it already. I'm producing content on a regular basis again. I'm trying to deliver these messages that God has given me. And at the same time, I'm trying to build a larger organization. And that's where your money's going. It's going to that. And I'm very careful about how I spend God's money. So I won't spend money on a massage therapist. And I've usually had a woman in my life who took care of that for me. And so now that I am going it alone, just pray for me, pray for my back. And right now I'm sitting on a heating pad. I've got a heating pad on my back. So just asking, coveting your prayers, and thanking you for your support. So let's talk today about confession versus judgment. So people confess to me. They just always have. Ever since I was young, they always confessed to me. And part of it is I learned fairly early on in life that the less judgmental you are of people, the more likely they are to tell you the truth. That being judgmental is a good way to be treated like a mushroom, kept in the dark and fed full of crap, right? That's how they grow mushrooms. They grow them in the dark and they feed off manure. So yeah, people will treat you like a mushroom if you are judgmental. It's a good way to walk around completely in the dark. When you banish judgment, when you learn to deal with any reaction you might have to people's confession, then people confess to you more. They feel safe confessing to you more, and you know more about what's going on in your life, the lives of the people around you, and your social setting. And so confession is good for the soul. We did a previous talk about how confessing is really the art of being real. It's not going to a priest and doing your Hail Marys and your what is it? What do they call the other one? Hail Mary and Our Fathers, right? It's not about going to a priest and getting your penance. It's about being real in your everyday life. It's about opening up to the people around you and not hiding your true nature, but being honest about where you are in your struggle and where you are in your walk and where you are in with your issues in life. And the more that we hide who we are, the more isolated we become. And the more prey we become to the enemy. The enemy can prey upon us in our isolation. The confession is the key to spiritual strength. Being real, owning your stuff, right? Recognizing your weaknesses and not hiding them, but just being open and honest with everyone around you. That is what true confession is. But why do people not do that? Why do people not feel comfortable confessing? They don't feel comfortable being real. They have to create this false narrative of who they are, this fake image, this mask that they wear. This isolates us from true connection and prevents us from growing as human beings. So why do people do that? Judgment. They do it because you judged them. They are afraid of judgment. They've seen you judge other people. They've shared with you and acted with you in judgment against other people. And therefore, they cannot share the truth with you for fear you will judge them. This is why so many of your people in church are just fake as plastic apples. They look real good till you bite into them, and then you realize they taste like crud, and you can't eat them. Right? So you can't create relationships with these fake apples. But the reason that they become fake is because of the judgment in the church, which is, you'd think that judgment would be in the world and there'd be a judgment-free zone in churches, but it is the exact opposite. It is the total opposite of that. There is judgment in the church and acceptance in the world. And you wonder why your church is empty and the bars are full. Come on, people. It's simple logic. Just use your brain for something more than an entertainment device. Okay? Give it some deep thought, and it should become clear to you. That judgment prevents confession. A lack of confession creates false faces and masks and false personalities, and all of those things lead to isolation, which makes you easily preyed upon by the enemy, and the devil just eats you because he separated you from the herd. The Bible says the devil's like a roaring lion, roaming to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. How does a lion hunt? They sneak up and get in position on a herd, and then they let go with a terrifying roar, and it drives everyone, all of the herd, into total panic. And what happens is the strong ones run away and the weak ones fall behind, and that's how the lion hunts. He preys upon the weak. So by separating yourself from the herd through this isolation, the devil is able to roar into your life, scaring away anybody that could help you, separating you out from and isolating you so that you can be preyed upon and devoured. So one could say that confession prevents us from being separated from the herd in isolation and devoured. So confession is extremely important in being a good person. It's extremely important in personal growth. It's extremely important to become the strong person that you desire to be. So when we judge other people, we're preventing their confession and their realness. We're putting a roadblock up, and in some ways, we're taking a mask and sticking it right on their face with our actions through judgment. And so, why do people confess to me? Partly is I got that priest calling, right? I'm kind of here to hear your confession. It's what God put me on the earth for. It is to take your confession and not blink. And the thing is, if you want stronger relationships, if you want real relationships, if you want to get to know the real person, if you're tired of people presenting a mask and a fakeness to you, it's because they fear judgment and they feel you will judge them. And I think it's my commitment to non-judgmentalism that causes people to just instinctually know I'm a guy they can confess to. Plus, I can keep a secret. I won't talk about your stuff. That's another thing. If you want to hear the truth about people, you got to keep it to yourself. Gossip. I could go into why the church is failing. Is one of the big reasons is judgment followed by gossip. Right? People talk crap about other people. They go out and share other people's secrets. They go, hey, did you hear about so-and-so? You know what they're up to? You know what they're doing? Well, that just spreads judgment. It's like gossip is like fertilizer to judgment. It causes it to grow in a body, in a group of friends, in a family. And so when people confess, you got to keep your mouth shut about it. You can't go around telling people other people's confessions, right? It's between you and them. And if they want to share it with the world, then that's their prerogative. But it's not your job to share their stuff. So that's part of why people confess to me. Another reason people confess to me is I do not react. I do not respond. I was telling you in a previous video, I think on judgment, that I had a friend that would make this face. Like he smelled something bad. Anytime he heard something that disturbed him or he thought was wrong, and he just immediately judged people and he wore it all over their face. So if you'd like people to be real and honest with you, then, like I said, don't tell people their stuff. Don't judge them. And don't respond. Have a poker face. Just nod, listen, don't respond. If you give them this face like you smelled something funny, or if you go like you're shocked, that just shuts people down and they won't continue their confession. I will tell you, people confess in tidbits. The truth comes out a little at a time, is the old saying. That this whole thing of just openly confessing everything right up front is not really how it works, because they test you. They confess a little thing and see if they get the stink face. They confess a little thing and see if it shocks you. If you're shocked by this little thing, you can't handle the truth. And I can't share the truth with you. Which continues this fake mask wearing and this false persona and image. And some people, and I won't name names, but I've been recently, was deeply involved with someone who this was their primary problem. They wore a mask of perfection. And they hid behind this mask of perfection. And anything that threatened that mask of perfection was met with the sword. It was met with aggression. It was met with strong defenses, right? So this is a person who has endured a lot of judgment, who can't trust anybody with the truth of who they are, and they're even hiding it from themselves. Because if you wear this mask of fakeness, if you wear this mask of perfection and this false persona, sooner or later it will become so permanent you can't remove it. So permanent that you can't be real, even with yourself. And you start to believe your own BS. You start to believe your own false persona. And that's when you get very defensive about it, because you don't want anyone to see the truth, especially yourself. You don't want to see the truth about yourself. And you you get to the point where the false mask is so firmly affixed that you can't even take it off and look in the mirror and be real with yourself. Unfortunately, this is the position we find most people in. This is why relationships crash. This is why friendships end. This is why betrayal happens. This is why cheating happens, because no one knows the real you, and you're isolated. And so sometimes that comes out in reaching out to people who aren't part of your situation so you can be real with somebody, which leads to intimacy, which leads to an affair, right? So you want the people in your life to be absolutely sold on you as their confessor, as the person that is involved deeply with their situation, that knows everything about them. And the key to this is being non-judgmental, non-reactive, and don't gossip. Right? It seems like simple logic, but unfortunately, the urges are in opposition to what is good for us. I mean, the urge is to judge somebody. Trust me, if you're judging people, you're getting help from the devil. He wants you to judge people because he's trying to isolate you, right? He's trying to isolate them. He's trying to prevent real connection. He's trying to prevent real honesty and real openness, because all of those things are the enemy to the devil. He can't get a foothold on you if you are being real with yourself, being real with the people around you, and engaged in genuine emotional intimacy. It gives you a support structure that the enemy can't penetrate. That it's really hard to drag somebody down into a secret life if there are no secrets in their life. You need to strive towards living a life free of secrets. It's why I will continue to confess about who I used to be. And I know that I will be judged by who I used to be. But it's okay. It's a lesson for you and me. That I'm going to open myself up for judgment. But know this, the man I used to be, even 3 months ago, is not the man I am today. And that change is not only possible, it's required. And it's a sign of an evolving and progressing spirit who is on their way towards a spiritual perfection. You shouldn't be today the person you used to be. And this is why judgment hurts people so bad, because you can judge somebody by their past, but that's probably not who they are today. But it's a big conundrum, because the best prediction of current behavior is past behavior, right? You can't throw that logic out, but at the same time, you have to recognize that people have moved on from who they are and who they used to be into who they're going to be tomorrow. And so I have changed a great deal, but I will be honest and open with you about who I used to be, about the debaucherous life I used to live, about the people that I hurt in the past, because confession is good for the soul, and it builds intimacy. And I'm trying to build an intimate personal relationship with many of you, all of you that I can make time for, right? And I want you to feel like you can confess to me, like you can tell me the truth, like you can be honest with who you are around me. And this is something we should all strive to do. You want stronger relationships? Drop the judgmentalism. You want stronger relationships? Stop telling people their business and stop spreading rumors and stop spreading gossip. Get a poker face. Don't respond, don't react, don't be shocked. Let people's truth come out a little at a time. Let them tell you something now and then trust you to tell you the rest later. And be patient to know that this comes out a little at a time. Drop your own mask. Be vulnerable. Engage in confession. It's good for the soul. But judgmentalism prevents confession. It keeps you like a mushroom in the dark and fed full of lies. And so if you want the truth, you got to be able to handle the truth. If you want to be accepted, you have to accept others. If you want to be forgiven, you have to forgive others. If you do not want to be judged, you must not judge others. Seems kind of simple, but it's one of those things where it's easier said than done, right? Prayer. By being an example, by being open to other people as well. People confess to me because I'm an open book. I'm unashamed of my past because I know my past was a pathway to my present, which is better than my past, and that it's a pathway to my future, which will be better than my present. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short sermon. I'm going to try to do a couple of videos today, even if one is just music. And I'm working towards being more productive. I'm getting my ducks in a row. Once again, thank you all for the wonderful support that you've given me over the past month. And I want you to know that it is building a fire under me to get me into the hard work mode that it took for me to build that big youth group and to be successful in the music business and to do all the things that I've done in the past. It's because I had a fire in my belly, which is here now again. And I'm becoming the best version of me. And I'm walking into God's purpose for my life. And this ministry is at the center of the bullseye for my life. And I'm in God's pathway and in His will. May the Lord bless and keep you. May His face shine upon you. To support this channel and to continue supporting me, PayPal in the description, P.O. Box 92, Sparks, Oklahoma, 74869. And may the peace of God envelop you, and may you walk in His pathway. And may the Lord bless you in all your ways. We'll see you next time on the Sheep Pen. Bye!